dicks. Why can't I get the 10th Zanzil? I have 600 kills past the 9th fucking drop, and I'm losing my sanity. And you're like, yeah, and you're like, why? I've seen so many people come through it. Like, I've seen so many people come through this camp now. There's some of these people are 3 or 4 levels higher than me now, because the RNG has definitely dealt me dirtier than the last fucking 70 people that I've seen. None of these names are like, none of these names. They're all new. All these people are going to be done with their quests before me too. Jesus Christ, man. Like, why did you deal me dirtier than the last 200 people I saw come through here? Like, it's like verifiable. I could show it in a court of law. Why did you deal me dirtier than everybody else? Makes me so angry. Why are all these names new? After 45 fucking minutes, I should have been out of here. Makes me so angry. I've been dealing with this for 20 years with your bullshit like this. Remember Heroic Matchers Terrorists? When I ran 278 times, I never met anybody who ran that more than maybe 115. I had to run 278 45-minute runs. And I was like, why? Why was this way worse for me? It's like, it's way, like, it's not like bad RNG worse. It's like, why was it exponentially 10 or 12 times worse than the worst person in the world's experience? Why was my experience 10 or 12 times worse than the worst persons in the world's drop rate? Why? Statistically, why am I still at this goddamn camp? It's like, see, and this is why I can't do questing anymore. It affects my sanity. I'm still waiting for this fucking drop. Come on, I've got a full inventory. I've got 2 more to go. Like, when he left, I've killed now like another like 20 mobs, and I still needed 2 more. Like, why? Like, why? Like, why? Why would you ever make me kill? I mean, what am I at now? I'm on. Yeah, this won't tell me how many I've killed, but it's got to be 90 or something like that. Come on, man. Everyone else here has left. I have the entire camp to myself because everybody else finished their quest fucking 15 minutes ago. I have to steal mobs from new players now to even get my fucking drop rate done. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jesus Christ, man. Like, fine, I'll just go sell. You keep giving me red linen robe, like, tailor things. Couldn't you give me something like green or a weapon? Fucking bad drop rate.
Aggro.
That guy was just like, peace, sorry, I'm not gonna wash the game, fuck you in the ass in front of me, and give you a way less balanced fucking experience than that guy got. He wouldn't even witness it. He was like, bye. And I was like, I don't blame you. I won't watch. I can't stand to sit around and watch the fucking unfairness either. He was like, yeah, I've done my time, and he left. Because I was like, yeah, man, I don't blame you. I don't know why it's making me fucking stay here 5 hours when everybody else is out in 20 minutes. I don't know why. It's literally been like an hour and 10 minutes when everybody else is out, and like maybe 12 to 18. Why have you kept me here 5 or 6 times longer than I should have been? Why? God damn it, I want to sock a developer in the fucking face these days pretty fucking bad. The RNG is like, no. Hey, finally, after 11 kills, I got my 9th ring. So let's go another 11 kills. When everybody else gets theirs, all 10 rings in 10 to 20 kills. It'll take me another 10 or 20 kills to get 1 ring. You know what I'm saying? Like, statistically, like, literally. Give me the 10th ring. Give it to me. Give me the 10th ring. Oh my god. It shouldn't have been like this. Like, dude, okay, my friend has significantly out-leveled me. And he started 6 hours past me. Because of stupid shit like this. It makes me so angry. I took, like, what, a half an hour break for dinner. And I've grinded since, like, what, 2 in the afternoon or something like that. He comes in 6 hours later, and he's 2 levels higher than me. Because the RNG does fuck me way fucking worse. Like, verifiably fucking worse. Like, these guys, they're all new still. Like, they're all new, because all the other ones finished their quests by now, and have left. I've gone through 5 or 6 generations of people finishing their quests now. 6 people could have finished their quests in the time it's allowing me to do mine, and it's driving me fucking crazy. I want to sock a fucking Blizz developer in the fucking face. This is why I couldn't do Classic. This bullshit. Where you see like 50 people go marching on past, totally done, 10 times faster than you, for no good goddamn reason at all. Come on, man. Like, no spawns except for the people who, like, aren't me, right? They get spawns, but not me. I can't get anything else in the place to spawn, but where they're standing, five mob spawn. You know, and it's like, come on, man, give me at least a spawn or something, man. A mob. Why is there not a single mob in sight? Couldn't you get the spawning done a little better? Piece of shit fucking company. Couldn't you do the spawning better? Come on, man. Well, you spawned that mob on top of him. Thanks. God damn it. Give me the ring.
Aggro.
It's the worst when you've got one left and you're like, oh my god, everybody else left an hour and 20 minutes ago. Why did you fuck me this bad compared to everybody else? Drive me fucking crazy. I'm not sure I can do this. This is what I was afraid of this morning. Jesus Christ, man. Give me a spawn or give me the ring or something, man. I'm not sure I can handle it. Oh my god. How long have I fucking been here? For one crappy level 8 quest. Come on, man. Oh my god. Oh my god. Drop the ring, piece of shit. Drop the fucking ring. Drop the fucking ring, motherfucker. Drop the ring. Drop the ring. It's been an hour and 15 fucking minutes. Thank fucking God. This is like one of the worst quests I've ever done in the history of WoW. Absolutely. There's been some pain in the ass piece of shit quests, but that's definitely worse than Zanzil Mixture. At level 8, you're worse than an STV quest? Fuck you. Fuck you, Blizzard. I don't know, man. This kind of soured the entire fucking experience for me. Hardcore it didn't even nearly have as bad as an experience as that. Like, dude, I have done 9 rogues to level 17 or higher in the last 3 weeks. I don't remember a quest even remotely taking any of the quests I did, even remotely taking 1/15 of the time this quest did for some fucking reason. I got fucked in the ass here really fucking bad, like the worst on the entire server. I think this quest took longer than any of the quests are going to take for anybody in the entire expansion from 1 to 25. I don't think anybody's going to spend as much time as I did on any quest. Why did you do this to me? It kind of affected me mentally. Why did you do this to me? This quest was a fucking rape job. Jesus Christ, man. Kept praying for a ring to fall. What happened there? What happened? That quest was like maybe 19 minutes max. There I am an hour and 20 minutes later or something. The guy came in after me and left before me? Like, what? Like, that's like the DMV or something like that, when someone comes in after you and you want to punch the DMV person in the fucking face when you get to the counter, because you're like, that person that I had to wait for came in after me. And you get really angry. I'm talking like enough to maybe want to commit assault in a government facility. That's how that just felt to me. That's how that really felt. That felt really bad to me. Why did that guy get out before I did? He came there like 20 minutes after I did and killed 1/10 of the mobs I did. What the fuck was that?
Parametrus would
I'm
be
not
proud.
exaggerating.
You
That better
certainly
not
deserve
ever
adventure.
fucking happen again. I better not ever get that again. That was unacceptable. That's enough to make me not want to do this
Parametrus would be
anymore.
proud. You
Don't do
certainly
that
did
to
as
me ever
well,
again.
adventurer.
I'm dead serious. Like, okay, dude, okay. The Zanzo mixture quest that got me to quit Classic in the first fucking place, that was, like, way better than what I just went through right here. What was that, man? You know, I've got witnesses who've been watching me play for 5 fucking weeks, you know what I'm saying? Who did not see a quest treat me like that. Not on the 200 levels I got or whatever the fuck there was I even remotely treated like that at all. Not even in hardcore was I treated like
Perrine's
that.
death will undoubtedly
That was
please the Dark
disgusting.
Lady.
Morally disgusting. Why did you hang me around for an hour and 20 minutes on a level 8 quest? Jesus fucking Christ, what's wrong with you,
The
Blizzard?
report executor Aaron sent me indicates
This is one of the reasons why I can't
Scarlet
do this game that
Crusaders
much
have been
anymore.
raiding from the ruined.
Not really. You know what I'm saying? I can't really do this game that much anymore. It causes such toxic, kill you anger in me sometimes.
Rest your weary bones for a spell.
Anyways. Fucking Blizzard and their goddamn math. Fucking Blizzard. People think I'm exaggerating when I say it. No. I've been on Blizzard math for fucking 20 years. Yelling about it in a raid in front of 500 fucking people sometimes. Blizzard math. Disgusting. Fucking an hour and 20 minutes on a level 8 quest. I would smack you if I could. Disgusting. How many kills was that? 120 something? Disgusting. Yeah, I see a lot of people standing around. Yeah. Cause, yeah, I don't know, man. Questing isn't really too fun, is it? No. Not really, no. I just dumped this stuff. I'm gonna go sell it, like, or I was gonna, no, I can't, I can afford to do that, yeah, I guess. Oh my god, I was at that camp so long, I made 20 silver off of the kills. At level 8. I can't get 20 fucking silver at level 20. Why did this quest treat me like this? Why was it way worse than level 20 quests in Manetho Bay? Why did it make me more money than level 25 quests? That's disgusting. 20 silver off a level 8 quest is like, what did you just do me there? You've got what? Probably what, like 1 million people playing this game right now, and you had to diamond in the rough me and rape just me. I had to have had the worst experience out of all 1 million of them. I'd wager my life on it. I don't think anybody got anything like what I just went through. Jesus Christ, man. This soured me pretty bad, man. Just gonna try and get over it. It's okay when the RNG fucks you way worse than anybody you've ever seen before. You're not special. You're not unique. This isn't happening to just you for some fucking weird reason. It's just coincidence. It's just RNG. You're not unique. You are not cursed. You are not special. This happens to everybody. You're making a big deal out of nothing. Your sanity is not unraveling because RNG is not treating you worse than everybody else combined for no reason at all. It's just in your imagination. Let it go. Let it go. I promised myself I wouldn't do this shit to myself. When I went into the streamer thing, I was like, I'm not going to torture myself with WoW, Blizzard math, Overwatch math, or Blizzard math anymore. I promised myself I wouldn't do it. Look at what it does to me. It makes me so unhappy. After the 277th 45-minute run through Heroic Magister's Terrace, and I had spent 2,700 hours in just Heroic Magister's Terrace, I was like, I will never do this to myself again. And I never did go hunt another mount again or another mini pet or an achievement. I was just like, no. And that was at the end of TBC. I stopped caring about achievements. I was just like, I can't, or I mean, I didn't stop caring about it, but I just stopped letting it destroy my life like that. And I know why Blizzard people are so toxic. It's because they all deal with this all day. And it makes you toxic. The RNG, it makes you so toxic. You're like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck just happened to me? It felt like digital rape. Digital RNG-based rape of my time. It felt like digital rape. It was disgusting. Totally against my will, without my permission. Playing off my addictions and my weaknesses, manipulating me, destroying me, and treating me worse than the fucking 75 people who traipsed through that fucking camp and got done before me, including the party member who came in after me. And I'm like, why was I treated so badly for no reason? Why? I go walking down the hallway and in a high school or something, and the locker blows up and kills just me, right? Or I go walk, it's just crazy, the treatment. I don't know why that man just tried to kill just me, Why just me? What? I didn't cross him, didn't do anything to him, never mistreated him. I mean, why did the man just try to kill me? Just me, Why am I special? Why do I get singled out by Blizzard and bullies and bullshit fucking artists? Why? Ugh. Oh my god, the bad trip, man. I've been through this bad trip so many fucking times. I really promised myself I would not do this weird cyclical downward spiral of an RNG failure bullshit Blizzard fucking theme park cocksucking fucking disaster. I promised myself I would not do this shit to myself. Yeah, I think I'll probably quit CSOD, I think. It was too toxic at level 8. I'm sorry, guys. I can't handle being forced to farm 20 silver from level 8 mobs for an hour and 20 minutes. I can't really handle it. Can't handle it. It's too bad for my sanity. It's just too crazy. Make me too crazy and too angry, too toxic, and I really will begin to want to really punch a developer in the face. I can't. I really am not a violent man, but this will make me violent. It'll make me more violent than people trying to kill me or my family have. This will make me really crazy. I don't believe I can do this. Yeah, I like WoW, and I think I can do hardcore, but I don't think I can do this. This is, I don't even know what the difference is. Hardcore just never treated me like this. Hardcore didn't treat me like this. I just did it. I just took 10 rogues to level 15 or higher. And I didn't receive any kind of treatment like this at all. Not once. Must have been 100 hours? Over, 2 weeks? 3 weeks? Not even remotely treatment like this. Why would this be so different? Why would it single me out so badly? Why did I have just such a bad experience? I don't think this is going anywhere. But I don't think I mean as in I think this is going somewhere, but I don't think it's going anywhere in terms of it's not going to disappear on me. And I don't like the whirlwind of emotions that this put me through at all. I think I might go back to hardcore. This was really fucking toxic, kind of. It was fun, but the mystery is not a plus to me. I am not feeling any sense of exploration at all. What I am feeling is doing the same thing that I've been doing for 20 fucking years, over and over and over again, and expecting a different result. And it's made me fucking crazy. What is that? Oh, they're right in the basement. Yeah, and like at least with hardcore, there's some kind of sweet plum at the end where I'm like, all this diversity led to something really beautiful, which was reaching level 60 and then reaching level 60 on all the classes, right? And it's a roguelike, and if you die, you're so angry, you know? And the gameplay loop is good, and you can grind if you want, and it's not this race, and I don't get my content cut off at level 25, and I don't have to like deal with all the angry neckbeards in the chat, and I don't have to like wait 5 hours in a queue, and I don't have to like, you know, I don't know, spend an hour and 20 minutes on a level 8 quest when everybody else there cleared in 14 minutes. Everyone else there, 5 generations of players over an hour and 10 minutes, like cleared in 15 minutes, but it took me an hour and 20. And my partner was just like, I can't handle what this game is doing to you, and straight up left. Like, couldn't even handle getting the last 2 rings. He was like, yeah, I don't know, we should have gotten maybe 200 rings by now, but we can't get 2. And I know what he was thinking, because I was too. And yeah, I know. I don't blame you for leaving either, buddy. Watching the game fuck only me is really sickening to me too, and I would leave if I could too. So I think I am gonna leave. Yeah, that was a really bad experience. I'm sorry. I'm not doing that to myself. I'm not doing that to myself anymore. Nope. It was good, but yeah. Nope, I'm trying to close my Discord, and like, that was fun. Yeah, but I mean, it's all the negative feelings that it brings up in me are not worth it to me. I'd rather play hardcore. Like, there's no gameplay loop. Reaching 25 isn't gonna make me happy. Waiting around for something else to happen isn't gonna make me happy. Ganking level 25 lobies in fucking Ashenvale isn't gonna make me happy. Like, none of that stuff's gonna make me happy. I don't care about that shit. I can go play Rust where real people with real skill play. I don't need to gank some fucking 40-year-old boomer on a game that he only played just that game for 20 years. I can't do it, man. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, it was good. It was good for like a day, but it's not what I came here for. I don't mind that I paid a year sub, and I'm glad that I did. And I can always come back to this character, but I mean, this was not what I was looking for, unfortunately. I'm gonna move on, you know? I hate being so flighty, man, but you put me through so much negative emotions, and you treated me so badly right then. It felt like digital rape, and I don't have to put up with it, and I won't. You know? I won't. It felt like digital rape. The last 12 hardcore characters did not feel like that. Even when I forgot Vanish, it did not feel like that. Something was really off with that energy. You lowered that drop rate because you lowered the fucking level cap. And it felt disgusting to me. And I'm gonna follow my instincts and not fall victim to that. I will not be punished on a level 8 quest. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, get all the casuals the fuck out of here. Yeah, I can see the division bell here. Yeah, I think the skill people are gonna stay around hardcore, frankly. Like, that was cool and all, but yeah, I'm sorry, man. That was just not, it was not cool to me. That was like, I'm not ever putting myself through that kind of drop rate ever again. I will not have my time raped, taken and raped. Not have my time, like, raped against my will like that.
Nice work, person. Please accept one of these items as payment for all your hard work.
Yeah, it was good. So, nice experiment. It was a good mode. Got no issue with it. I think all of my issues are personal. I think the mode itself is great. Whatever. I don't think that drop rate was great. I think that was digital rape of a drop rate. Make a little song about it called The Digital Rape of the Drop Rate. Digital rape from the Blizz 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 drop rate. Blizz digital rape. Digital rape from the Blizz drop rate. Digital rape from the Blizz drop rate. And I could do a fucking rap song about it. Because it is digital rape. And I won't put myself through it again. Fuck you guys. I have to have freedom in my games. I cannot have you cracking some fucking drop rate whip anymore. If I was a child, I think that's cool. And it felt like Pokemon and I needed to collect it all. And you were like providing me a beautiful, wonderful experience I'd never been through before. But digital rape on a drop rate in 2023 is not something I will willingly do to myself. No, absolutely the fuck not. Nope. And I don't know why, but hardcore isn't doing that to me. So I think you lowered the drop rate so that people don't speed to 25 in 10 hours like I did in Angry Earth on New World. And I don't think that equals good gameplay. I think that equals unacceptable time rape, time sink. And watching those 100 players march through that quest faster than me, killing at a quarter of the rate, made me sick. Sick. Me and that fucking mage, we were pulling at triple the rate everybody else in that place was. And getting 1/10 of the fucking drop rate for some reason. What was that? He was embarrassed at the end. He was like, yeah, I'm good, buddy. And he just bailed. He was embarrassed. He was like, yeah, I'm good. I can't do this. I was like, I don't blame you either, man. Thank you. You know. And when you have a moment like that, you know that you've been victimized. When you have like nothing but pity from a person, it means that you were unduly treated very badly for some reason that nobody can explain. When you have someone's pity, that guy pitied me, and that really affected me a lot. That guy literally felt pity for me. Disgusting. I feel pity for what Blizzard's become now. I'm sorry. See all the bad energy? Just get the fuck away from it. I'm gonna change the title and get away from that. Yep, Hardcore Rogue. We're gonna go Hardcore Rogue. It was good. It was good for 8 hours. WoW Classic Hardcore Rogue. Classic Hardcore Rogue. And the MMO lifestyle, and yeah, that should be good. I think we are good. Yeah. And then why is the player having such a fucking bad time? There we go. So it was good. It was good to pull numbers, you know. It was all right. I have to be at a doctor in the morning. I had 2 doctor's appointments in a row in 2 days. They do this to me so it pisses me off less, but it's also really not fun. Damn it, I have to be at the doctor at 10:30 in the morning. That's gonna be like what, a 9:45 thing. 9:45 and yeah, it's like midnight. So I guess I have about, I got about 2 hours. I've got an hour and 20 minutes and I'll have done my 12-hour stream. So there we go. Season of Discovery was good for about a day. You know, it was fun. Good experiment, but that drop rate was, I don't know. Maybe I just made a mountain out of molehill, but I don't know. When the guy pitied me, I knew something was really wrong. No, the pity was real. The experience is on video. I recorded it. People can see what they did to me there. That was unacceptable. I don't have to validate it. I have the proof. I know what happened. I saw it. I recorded it. They fucked me and only me. I'm sick of feeling like that. I don't want to be in... I'm not very certain of almost anything in my life anymore. Except for, like, my sexuality, my fucking... Like, the fact that I'm done with humanity... And that I'm not willing to go to places where I feel like I am being taken advantage of. Not anymore. And that felt like I was taken advantage of right there. I don't have the words to explain how. I'm just trying to speak from a place of like genuineness and authenticity and speak truth. I'm not trying to be hyperbolic. Like I'm trying to speak truth to like my actual feelings on that experience that I just went through. It's like I don't ever want to go back to that place ever again. I think I'm gonna try and take it like it was a lesson that I needed to learn. That I'm done with retail WoW completely. I think I don't think I want to play anything but hardcore. I don't value anything WoW has to offer anymore except for the economy and the juicy plum that is reaching 60 on the hardcore server so that you don't ever have to play hardcore ever again. Right? And just, actually say goodbye to WoW. I thought I had said goodbye to WoW. This surprised me when they were like, oh, we're gonna necro our game and make 3 copies of it. You know, the original retail that never went anywhere. And then the classic that never went anywhere. And now Season of Discovery Classic Plus that it never went anywhere. And I'm like, do we really need to do this 3 fucking times? I think hardcore is a good revisit, you know? I think hardcore is an acceptable revisit. I don't know about SOD. Oh, no, man. And I was doing well, too. I even had a green dagger and all that shit. And at level 8. Like, on a brand new server that was, like, 10 hours old or whatever. And I'm like, no. This isn't it. This isn't what I came for. I would not be fucking abused by a drop rate to the point where I'm so angry that I don't want to play it anymore. I haven't had an experience like that on this stream almost even in the last 2 years. And that's how I know. What do you mean invalid target? Oh, right. Yes, sap. Yeah, okay.
Aggro.
Oh, man. And I like they're like, oh, there's a new raid, and oh man, the dungeons are gonna be the 2 dungeons are gonna be so fun. Wailing Cavern, my 2 least favorite dungeons, by the way, in the entirety of WoW, are Van Cleef and fucking Dead Mines and Wailing Caverns are my 2 least favorite dungeons in all of WoW, and those are the only 2 dungeons that are in SOD. I mean, there's Shadowfang Keep and maybe Razorfang Crawl, maybe. Which are good dungeons. I really like those ones. Great. Love RFK. RFD is even better. But I don't need to run those dungeons that I used to do when I was 20 years old. I'm 40. I've been speaking out on my stream for 2 years. I mean, I do need to do this hardcore thing because it's like playing a roguelike of WoW. I don't have to do any quests. I don't have to do anything at all. There's no race and there's no raid to reach or any of that stuff. Like, I am really having trouble with linear point A to point B gameplay anymore. I can't handle being told what to do. I'm gonna stop complaining. I don't want to be on Horde. I don't like Undead. I don't like how Undead had a combat animation for Eviscerate, but Human doesn't. Like, I mean, there's a lot that's sort of negative for me. Like, you know, just gotta relax. I don't know. I didn't like Season of Discovery. What's wrong with me?
Aggro.
He is a too high.
Aggro.
Great. I am too emotionally and mentally and spiritually damaged to be normal anymore, I think. I don't think I get the same experiences out of things that normal people do. I'm too conflicted all the time. I'm too emotional. I'm too set in my ways and too flighty. My patience with most things is at like 0, and I don't have the chutzpah to like really focus on things that I used to be extremely good at. And my lost interest in these things have made me bad at them. And that is something that is hard for my pride to reconcile with. I would say I'm not very good at this anymore. I don't have the grind in me anymore. I have the grind in me. I don't have the repetition in me anymore. I don't have the repetition to sit at that camp for an hour and 20 minutes on 2 rings and kill 35 more mobs than I should have had to even remotely ever do. I'm sorry, but like, maybe you're not counting, but I am. I'm fucking counting how long that was, and it wasn't acceptable. So here we are.
Aggro.
Like my only real response is to just exit the situation. We know that. Oh great, really? Oh my god! Put the weapons away. I just went through this. Why did the coyote spawn inside of it? Yeah, there we go. Are you gonna kill me? No. Why can't you get the collision boxes right? And so then I'm like when you have PTSD in an actual verifiable way, you get in this situation where you're like, oh, I've lost control and I'm doing things that I don't want to do, and it's breaking me because I have 0 tolerance for anything like that anymore. And you get in this situation where you feel like you're being taken advantage of and you have no control, as someone's really harmed you before and destroyed everything you are and everything you were, and took everything you valued away from you. And so then you're just destroyed. You're destroyed. So then you look at like some uphill battle, like what just happened to me on that quest that you voluntarily put yourself through. And the only power I have in that situation is to not voluntarily put myself through the situation. You know? My only power. I couldn't control the drop rate. I couldn't control that guy came after me and left before me. I couldn't control that 50 to 75 other people came through there at triple the rate. I couldn't control that the guy pitied me. I couldn't control. The only thing I can control is the log out key. You know? The pity was unacceptable to me. Look, if you had asked me today, oh, are you ready for somebody to pity you for playing WoW today? I would have been like, what are you talking about? This morning, I would have been like, what? But by the end of the day, it wouldn't have been a surprise. Like, yeah, someone's going to pity your experience in this game today. It's going to be so bad that someone's going to pity you and leave your party because they can literally see that you're being treated so badly that they can't help you. And they leave out of disgust and pity because they're like, well, I'm good now. Can't help you. You're being fucked by the game and I don't know why. And so they just pity you and leave. And that situation is just, the whole thing is toxic. Fucking toxic. Yeah. You gotta let it out. Just gotta like spew it out. Just like talk it out. Get around my feelings of like inadequacy with like my PTSD and being treated in situations where I constantly have the disadvantage as opposed to everybody else in the same exact situation with the same exact odds. I'm the one with the disadvantage all the time. And it's just, it gets to me. It really gets to me. I can't do it. I can't do it in a PvE situation. No thanks, you know.
Back Force here once again, taking a look at some of the best new games that are launching this time for the month.
And like,
December
I mean,
20.
like, god damn it, like, I don't know, man. Like, I need something that I haven't done before. Like, I'm okay with hardcore because I've never done. I've done Iron Man and I've done hardcore in WoW, but I've never done like this hardcore in WoW where it's legit. And there's like an achievement for, not an achievement, but it's like, you know, it's an actual server. It's not some mod. It's not some private server. It's like an actual legit server. And it's addictive to me. It's addictive to me in a way that Season of Discovery was not, you know. I'd way rather be here. And that was negative to me. Why didn't you make Season of Discovery hardcore? They will drop okra, but not oats. The oats are in particular places in the field, are they? Oh, that... Yeah, that is a level 20 that will absolutely kill me. Yeah, stay away from him. Yeah, there's nothing I can get from these. It's all over there, I guess. I like that it feels more empty. It's good. Less people, the better. What is wrong with me? The things that I used to really enjoy are just... I guess I changed. I have changed since even 2015. Where the things that I used to really, really love just do not bring me joy anymore. This brings me joy for some reason. I don't know why. But that did not. And I have to go with my instincts on it. I'm going to get popped here, aren't I? Yeah. I cannot stop here. And I don't know what you want me to do here. You want me to get oats, but I don't remember how to do that. How do you get oats? Is it killing things? Oh, no. It's a sack of oats. Yeah, I remember now. I remember this stupid-ass quest, yeah. Okay. I can't handle the questing. It's so annoying. I can't do the questing. I'd rather just kill the mobs, to be honest. You telling me to be somewhere and go hunt for something all the time. I'm so sick of you telling me what to do. I can't do theme park anymore. Please give me my fucking thing.
Things are pretty slow this month, but one of the nice things about the hobby of gaming is that there's always something new to look forward to. It's so big, there's so many studios, developers, and publishers. There's always a new game coming out. Maybe one of them catches your interest.
Aggro.
Let's take a look at what we've got to look forward to this month. Starting things off with Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. This is a new first-person open-world game from the creators of The Division, Ubisoft Massive. While still an open world, there's a noticeable departure here from their prior work, mainly in presentation, gameplay style, and of course course, the setting. The game takes place in the lush, vibrant world of Pandora. If you've ever watched the Avatar films and thought to yourself, gee, that could make a cool game, well, this month we will see just how well Ubisoft Massive delivers on that premise. As a side note here as well, I gotta say, I was a massive fan of The Division. The sequel didn't really click with me nearly as much, but I just loved the original, so I am keen on the developer in general. I am rooting for them here. And also, I've actually already played this game, or at least 2 hours worth of it, at a virtual hands-on session the other month. And my overall takeaway was fairly positive. It is certainly an open world game, and as such, it has all of the expected features. There are camps to clear, points of interest to discover, puzzles to solve, resources and loot to gather, etc., all with a touch of Avatar. So enemy camps include like outpost and mining installations, things constructed by the bad guy faction in this game, known as the RDA. They set up camps all around the world to plunder the resources. You go in, eliminate the enemies, which consist of a mix of humans and mechs, and then capture the camp. Doing so allows nature to creep back in, quite literally. Plants and wildlife will overtake the camps, which opens up new resources and loot for you to gather. The open world is chock full, and I mean loaded, of all sorts of plants and wildlife. There's a massive variety of plants everywhere, and not just as backdrop either. There are resource plants for crafting, buff plants providing temporary boost, traversal plants helping you get around, and even progression plants doing things like boosting your health permanently. There's also a load of hostile plants and wild.
So I have a bit of advice to these developers driving the survival genre into the fucking ground. Please don't try to arcade game the survival experience. Less is more. The more RPG stuff that you add, I guess, I don't know, Rust Hardcore Zombies was good, but that chart is like, should be in every single survival game, you know? That chart is special. Unless it's like that, like, stop trying to complicate survival, it won't work.
Too close to the plants, they'll like explode or whack you with something, and the wildlife will pretty much attack you on sight. Also, while exploring, besides
how is
coming
that
across
survival?
the RDA enemy camps and outposts to clear, you're gonna find an assortment of structures, abandoned buildings, bases, natural caves, outcroppings, and various points of interest.
I don't like Avatar. Never have, never will.
Chests, tree trunks, and all sorts of stuff with loot, resources, consumables, and even gear to find, as the game does have an RPG style system of loot with different rarities. There's even
you guys keep trying to resurrect it too. I know why, because right about when Avatar came out in 2004, Lord deliver me from 2004. I'm going to say it every day until the boomers finally realize how they really want to time travel back to the year 2004 again. No thanks, right? And so what came out in 2004? Avatar. Why did we have a sequel? Why do you guys keep trying to bring us back to that place? I know that was a good movie, but I don't think it stood out in any way or form. I don't remember who was even in it. Sigourney Weaver?
Skill trees. And yes, again, everything else to expect out of an open world game. Base camps with vendors, quest givers, and crafting stations. There's tons of points of interest, providing varied gameplay, mini...
When you compare, like, even Cocoon or The Abyss, which, you know, isn't even James Cameron's best work. They're his schlocky films, right? They're still better than this.
There'll be all sorts of side stories over besides the main campaign and adventure.
Like, okay,
different activities.
Cocoon was an old person's movie. Like Grumpier Old Men. And it was still better than Avatar.
To partake in. There's a day-night cycle with weather conditions as well. And the game's combat is first person, pretty straightforward from what I played. You point and you shoot. Sometimes you aim for weak points. Not a ton of depth, it seems, at least from my early hands-on impression. Feels like this game is more about being in the world, the exploration, the adventure, and the storytelling. Probably my biggest personal disappointment.
What story?
That this is a single player and or a 2-player co-op game and not
I'm certain. I am certain that there's really secret racism in both Dances with Wolves and Avatar and really Dances with Wolves with Smurfs. right? I am fairly certain. I know I'm woke. I'll take it. Shoe fits. Definitely fucking woke. Really woke. Like probably the worst one, right? And I happen to really believe in a really core fundamental way that both Dances with Wolves and Dances with Wolves with Smurfs were extremely white racist. Really white racist. And I've never said this in my life before because I've never really realized that I felt this way. But when I think of racist movies, it's weird because Avatar is not a racist movie, but race is the main theme, and it's usually about, and the same is true with Dances with Wolves, it's about going native. But see, the problem is the white wasp, privileged white concept of going native is actually extremely racist inherently, kind of like blackface or Othello or, you know, kind of extremely racist. And I'm sorry, but that doesn't mean that Avatar needs to be canceled or disliked or hated or something like that. But it's one of the core problems that I had with liking the movie. There was this point where, when I was like 16, the world and the hipster community and everybody knew how Dances with Wolves, really how racist it kind of was, and how really horrible the depictions kind of were. And a movie that I universally loved when I was 7 years old as my favorite movie of all time ended up being one of my least favorite movies when I really thought about it. And then when I was forced to be put through the same experience again in a weird James Cameron CGI movie about the white man's guilt over going native, and it was a negative experience for me. My mother didn't like it, and we sat and we broke down why afterwards. And I know the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, but I mean, that's where I landed on that one. Is let's go see if my feelings are correct, because I am woke. I am kind of woke. It really bothers me a little bit. So let's go see the woke bullshit about this, the cancel culture thing about Avatar and fucking Dances with Wolves. Is Dances with Wolves racist? Because I don't like this statement, but now it's what it did to bring Native Americans to the pop culture, Native America to the pop culture was really amazing, but it was a very racist movie with a lot of really iconic bad racism in it, kind of. And it appears that no, I am probably the only person who feel. Oh, but Avatar did pull one.
This video, we ask whether the
Thank you to movie guys. I've liked and subbed to your channel for the. Thank you for the excellent content for my stream.
2009 movie Avatar is racist by looking at arguments to the question both pro and con, and by asking you to share what you think in the comments below. Like the motif in the movie emphasizing the different cultural definitions of seeing, audiences of Avatar see it in different ways. One way Avatar can be seen is as a rather paradoxical piece of cultural appropriation.
I didn't see it that way. I said what I thought. I thought going native is actually an extremely privileged, white, racist point of view, and that's the core of the lens through which the story is delivered. Going native, which is in and of itself separatist and divisionary from the get-go. It implies that we're not all the same human being, that there's a difference, that you need to descend or ascend somewhere to be on the same level as them, or for them to come to your level or something. It's inherently white racist. And I'm sorry, but it is. And when my friends pointed it out, I was like, oh.
Narrative of humans seeking to exploit the mineral unobtainium from the moon Pandora at the expense of the lives of the native Na'vi humanoids would seem to be skeptical, to say the least, of capitalism, colonialism, and technology as represented by the vilified human endeavor in the movie, and to be sympathetic for the environmentalism, spirituality, and human rights of the indigenous as embodied by the victimized Na'vi. Yet,
there was also issues with the story. So if you remember, the guy who goes native to Na'vi, and I don't remember the actress in this movie because I don't think it was a very good movie. The guy who goes native goes back and fights the colonists at the end, if you recall, in a mech suit. The mech suit was cool. I remember seeing that movie in 3D, and I was like, the mech suit's sweet. It's awesome, you know? It's like Mech Warrior, right? Or Chappie or one of those. But that core theme is still really racist. At any given time, there's still this separation between him and the blue-faced people, him and the white-faced people, him taking one side, him taking the other side. The entire story is separatist between what I would have thought would have been a good ending to a cultural diversity film, would be that they come to the realization that they're all cut from the same cloth. But the end story in both Dances with Wolves and Avatar is white man who goes native fights white man, which is entertaining and a good twist ending, and Oscar Wilde and good. And I think I actually like that part of it where the white man fights the white man. You know, I actually like that part of it when Kevin Costner takes his stand with the Indians and goes native and stuff. I like that part of it. But it's also completely bullshit because racism lives on both sides. And then on top of it, it's pandering, it's infantile when you look at how race relations actually work. And it's also violent, it's betrayal, it's a lot of weird things that I just don't think are good writing. They're just shocking and interesting and entertaining. It's sensationalist for Kevin Costner to fight against the white army to free the, I believe it was the Choctaw Nation, I believe it was, wasn't it? I forget what tribe it was in Dances with Wolves, or the Na'vi in Avatar, right? But honestly, how good is the ending? If it's like, oh, it turns out, think about the ending, really. Think about it. And a good writer would. A writer actually classically trained would think about the ending, right? A good author like Mank or Trumbo or somebody like that would be like, or even Cohen or one of them. They would be like, the ending is kind of bullshit because it's like, two wrongs make a right. The white man goes native and then fixes the situation by taking a stand and using violence to defend the native nation. And the real strength is in Billy Jack. The real strength, we've had good movies like Billy Jack where they show the white man being forced to defend his people against the FBI shooting him in the chest with a high-power rifle from across the street. But he doesn't do so willingly, and he does not go to the reservation and go native willingly. He does this because they force him to. Now, in Avatar and Dances with Wolves, he does so willingly. And this is the difference. The ending would have been a lot better if he, and usually they die when they attempt this. But honestly, I think a better ending would be is that when the white man attempts to go native, I think reality is a better ending. Whoever has been hurt most by the white man's racism takes it out on the white man. That's a good ending to me. Because that's what would happen in real world. It would not be this white man goes native and becomes the leader of the Choctaw Nation or whatever pandering, speak down to you, fucking racist, white, entitled wasp bullshit, just straight up bullshit. Oh, thank you, white man. Please save us from the white man. You know, it's just disgusting. It was a bad script. It was bad. It was a bad story. It was badly written, and it was very cheesy if you look at it the right way. Now, were they good movies? Yes. That was the worst part about it. They're good movies, both of them. They're amazing. They set the trends. They were amazing movies. Actors were on point. The CGI was good. The music was great. The epic feels, the 3D presentation Avatar, what it did for the industry, all this other stuff. They're like top 10 movies. You know, they're really good. But it doesn't change the fact that when I got woke, or whatever you want to call it, I went back looking at it and I was like, no, this is an incredibly bad war tale meant to make the white man look good for attacking the white man. And honestly, a good story is like Gandhi, where he convinces everybody not to kill each other. There's a good story. Gandhi, right? Not white man goes native, joins native thing, takes Native American wife, and then goes fight white man army. Yeah, it's entertaining, and I'd watch it. Sure, great, sensationalist, sounds good. So I heard a movie title lately that made me laugh. It was like Black KKK member or something. It was like the Black KKK detective or whatever it was. I haven't watched that yet, but I think it's Don Cheadle, and it looks pretty good, as I recall. And I was like, yeah, sure, it's sensationalist. The story, though, it's kind of sensationalist. Because in the end, it's still violence begetting violence, and then violence somehow supposedly fixing violence begetting violence. When usually, if you want real resolution in racial wars, like Gandhi, you must accept peace and civil disobedience and a non-violent approach. Otherwise, you just got basically violence. And say what you want about Avatar and you know, Dances with Wolves being good movies. They use the same plot device, and it's a bad, not woke, definitely really regressed, racist, sort of nepotist, sort of like, there's all these weird buzzwords that they would use on Reddit for this exclusionist behavior or whatever. But I mean, like, it was made by it was racist, though. It was like inherently really racist. And the problem is, it's done in a style that white racists would do. They try to couch it by doing a deep dive into another culture and trying to show the dissonance between the two, and it spins a good yarn, I must admit. But it still sucks that the white man has to kill the white man, or any man, to fix the problem. It's a bad ending. You know?
A white man. And by the culturally dominant American movie industry.
Now, it sucks. I think it actually sucks less when he kills the white man to stop the ravages of the white man. I guess it sucks less when the white. I guess it sucks less. This is literally the sentence that comes to mind when I think of it. It sucks less when the white man has to stop the ravages of the white man or whatever. So it's an entertaining, sensationalist tale. But really, it's actually, in the end, if you boil it down, it's two wrongs make a right. Violence against native cultures and appropriation and theft of their culture and their resources is met by native resistance and violence. And then there's a violent clash, and the army kills everyone, and violence supposedly tells a good story, I guess, but the resolution, if you recall, is that everybody dies, I think. Or at least the hero dies. Everybody dies. If the white man goes against his own, you know, he's considered a white devil or whatever by his own people. So, you know, morally, if you're writing that script, you got to know that the white man's going to die at the end if he goes against his own people. The same way a Native American would die at the end if he went against his own people. You know, because it's like that horror movie trope where if you have sex in a horror movie as a teenager, you're gonna get killed. It's this inherent thing, like, it sucks that their answer to it is that the white man dons the saber and is somehow more effective against resisting the white man army than the natives were, even though they've lived there longer and are, like, you know, probably better warriors and are, like, more savvy with the land, and they're on their home turf. But yet white man comes to their saving. It's you see how it's pandering and shitty? White man comes to the Choctaw tribe and takes a wife, who the only other white person there Mary Steenburgen or whoever it was, or no, it's Mary McDonnell. He marries the only other white person there, and I'm sorry, but it was just actually kind of racist when you really look at it with like a fine-tooth comb. There, that's how it felt to me.
It's a movie heavily dependent upon technology and capitalism, which is how it revolutionized 3D in movies and became the highest.
It did not revolutionize 3D in movies. It did not revolutionize 3D in movies. It did not. It did not. I guess revolutionize, yes. It was the first one to really make it mainstream. I guess he's right. Never mind. He's right.
In other words,
I concede it.
Avatar wouldn't make billions of dollars on Pandora. The movie wouldn't even have been made there. Others see the filmmaker's hypocrisy extending further to the movie's narrative. Annalie Newitz, for one, in an article in...
Yeah, when will white people stop making movies like Avatar, right? Let's go look at this, and let's see what that person said, because it's like... When will white people stop making movies like Avatar? Because it was kind of racist. It was like ableist racist. It was so racist. Critics have called Alien Epic Avatar a version of Dances with Wolves because it's about a white guy going native and becoming a great leader. But if the white guy was truly great, he wouldn't need to go native. He would have treated his fellow man well, and they'd all be friends and trading and opening up cities with each other and building a new world together. But instead, white guy had to be better than the natives, which is where you get the concept of going native, which implies that there's some separation between the white guy and native, which, you know, there's like it's like this implied separation. When the white guy has to go native, there's this implied separation that I don't like. You know what I'm saying? Because we're all the same. Humans are all the same. I don't care what color of skin you are or where you come from. We're all the same. Our poop is the same color in the end. Our bodies all end up the same color in the end. Brown soil in the ground after the worms eat our heads. Trust me, we're not special. There's no better race than any others or any of this other stupid ass shit that white guy ableists have been telling us for tens of thousands of years while they enslave women and enslave people of other races. And I will not do this any longer. I will not truck with it. So, but Avatar is just the latest sci-fi rehash of an old white guilt fantasy where the white man saves the white man's face, I guess, by going and fighting the white man. Whether Avatar is racist is a matter for debate. Regardless of where you came down on the question, it's undeniable that the film, like alien apartheid flick District 9, released earlier this year, is emphatically a fantasy about race. Specifically, it's a fantasy about race told from the point of view of white people. Which is true. Notice that you have to go native in these films, which means adventuring to the native lands and seeing how they live. But frankly, wouldn't it be cooler if we brought, I don't know, Mulan to the white world or whatever, it treated them equally. I don't know. Wouldn't that be a better story? Specifically, it's fantasy about a race told from the point of view of white people. Avatar and sci-fi films like it give us the opportunity to answer the question, what do white people fantasize about when they fantasize about racial identity? And it's savior complex. It's the Jesus Christ pose. It's my biggest dislike about my own race. Well, and gender too. But that's just a coincidence. Hopefully. Avatar, Imagine Olivia revisits the crime scene. At least they said it. Avatar imaginably revisits the crime scene of white America's foundational act of genocide, the Trail of Tears, in which entire native tribes and civilizations were wiped out by European immigrants to the American continent. In the film, a group of soldiers and scientists have set up shop on the verdant moon Pandora, blah, blah. I don't need a description of it. Watching the movie, there's really no mistakes. These are alien versions of stereotypical native peoples that we've seen in Hollywood movies for decades. And Pandora is clearly supposed to be the rich, beautiful land America could still be if white people hadn't paved it over with concrete and strip malls. In Avatar, our white hero, Jake Sully, get it? Explains that Earth is basically a war-torn wasteland with no greenery or natural resources left. I wonder who caused that. Was it the natives? The humans started to colonize Pandora in order to mine a mineral called unobtainium, which is just so bad, that can serve as a mega energy source. But a few of these humans don't want to crush the natives with tanks and bombs, so they wire their brains into the bodies of Na'vi avatars and try to win the natives' trust. Jake is one of the team of avatar pilots, and he discovers to his surprise that he loves his life as a Na'vi warrior far more than he ever did his life as a human marine. Well, yeah, I would too. I would too. Jake is so enchanted that he gives up on carrying out his mission, which is to persuade the Na'vi to relocate. With the help of a few human renegades, he maintains a link with his avatar body in order to lead the Na'vi against the human invaders. This is a classic scenario you've seen in non-sci-fi epics from Dances with Wolves to The Last Samurai, where a white guy manages to get himself accepted into a closed society of people of color and eventually becomes its most awesome member. And there you go. There's a sentence that I couldn't say that well. And it's racist. It's this white guilt fantasy that is very difficult for me to get around. So...
When will white people stop making movies like Avatar? Argues that the movie is a white guilt story. In the same vein as similar films such as Dances with Wolves and Pocahontas, the argument goes, Avatar assuages the white guilt for their ancestors' genocide of Native Americans and or whomever else. This is done not by taking
what if the white man fights the white man at the end?
Perspective of the indigenous Na'vi, or by having them lead themselves against the humans, but rather by the trope of a white savior going native. The white guilt fantasy gives the white man the agency to save the racial other, here represented by the Na'vi, while removing from the Na'vi the agency to save themselves. The movie's protagonist is human Jake Sully, and the narrative is a classic hero's journey where everything in the narrative is in service of the transformation of the protagonist. A former Marine, Sully at first aids the human mission of colonizing Pandora, but through the use of his avatar Na'vi body, as well as his sympathy resulting from his human body's disability, he comes to identify with the plight of the Na'vi. Eventually he has his mind transferred to the avatar body. It's a bit like if in the movie Get Out, the white characters were the heroes. In both movies, white people trade out their disabled bodies, retaining their minds but adopting the new bodies of another race, which they believe to be more athletic and generally cooler in whatever ways.
Yeah, it's a hackneyed, forced, shoehorned premise of walk a mile in their shoes. But, I mean, really, we don't need to. If we didn't have any differences, we wouldn't need to walk a mile in their shoes. We are them. It's a better story if you say we are them. We don't need to walk a mile in their shoes. We are them.
Doesn't have the whole murdery brain removal part. Although, come to think of it, I'm not exactly sure how
we don't treat our own like this.
Humans made the
It's a much better ending than this white man saves the world shit.
avatars. Besides recalling secular and video game related definitions of the word avatar, the movie's title seems to intentionally allude to the Hindu concept of the term. In adopting the white savior trope, the movie portrays Sully as a semi-divine figure. A member of the Sky People, as the Na'vi call them, Sully lands on Pandora and takes the form of the native people in order to save them from their plight. In doing so, he even co-ops and realizes the Na'vi prophecy by mastering a Toruk and flying the dragon-like animal as he leads the Na'vi tribes into battle. And if the white savior, aka
Aggro.
white messiah trope wasn't obvious enough, the Jesus/Neo figure, Sully, literally resurrects after dying to save humanoid kind, and then does so again as he transforms completely into his heavenly avatar body. At the same time, the Na'vi are depicted, as post-colonial writers might say, by a process of racial othering. In other words, they're reduced to stereotypes. In fact, people have claimed that the Na'vi are depictions of, or seem to share similarities with various racial groups, including Native Americans, Africans, and indigenous tribes throughout the globe. The cast portraying the main Na'vi characters also demonstrate racial diversity, including Native American, African American, and Latino identities. One could say the diversity serves merely to further the division between the intended identification with the movie's white protagonist and the non-white others. Moreover, as the writings of post-colonist Edward Said have made clear, and as our problem of locating the fictional narrative in our last video, Aladdin, is it racist indicated, stereotyping need not be specific and is hardly accurate. Instead of being a representation or stereotype of any specific
Aggro.
race, the Na'vi, in this respect, are a conglomeration of stereotypes in indigenous tribal communities and racial others. This includes the nature-based spirituality, the exotic clothing or lack thereof, the feathers and jewelry, the strange tattoo and body paint-like markings on their skin, the bow and arrow warrior ethics, the mystical ceremonies, and the emphasis on the gigantic, athletic bodies of the natives instead of the mental agency occupied by Sully that causes their liberation. There's another literary and movie trope for this. It's the trope of the noble savage. Speaking of tropes, there's another one that frequently comes up in the discussions of Avatar and race. That is, the magical Negro, which is related to and is a largely Hollywood spin on the noble savage myth. Insofar as the Na'vi are able to help themselves at all, it's in the service of aiding the hero, Sully, in his journey as the white savior. The oppressed Na'vi literally introduce him to magical powers in this service. They teach him to control animals by connecting his tail to them. They teach him about the goddess Ewa. Yet, even though Sully doesn't believe in her, it's him and not the Na'vi who ultimately pleads with Mother Nature to aid his journey.
Probably just talking to a tree right now. But if you're there, I need to give you a heads up.
Resulting in other animals of Pandora coming to the rescue in the climactic battle. On the other hand, Avatar is sympathetic to the Na'vi cause, regardless of whether it's through the lens of a white character's journey. And really, how could someone like James Cameron do otherwise? How could we expect him to relate to indigenous people not through the eyes of a white man? And would it even be appropriate for him to have tried? Also, at the very least, one might say, the Na'vi are a fictional alien species and not a realistic depiction of a specific human race. Some critics instead have seen Avatar as anti-American despite its American hero Sully. After all, Sully in the end does heroically betray his race to become Na'vi. And Sully had already been betrayed by his society in their refusal to pay for an operation to correct his spinal injury incurred in combat as a Marine, which forced him to become something of an other within his own culture. Meanwhile,
Aggro.
American capitalism, represented by the RDA, ruthlessly seeking to satisfy quarterly profits in the movie, and their privatized representation of the American military emergency making way for the RDA's colonization are vilified. Talking about stereotypes, one need look no further than corporate weasel Parker Selfridge, or the epitome of the hated American soldier, Colonel Quaritch, two characters whose development goes little beyond spewing racial slurs and murderous actions. Some, including Cameron himself, have claimed Avatar to especially be a critique of Vietnam and the Iraq War.
Some kind of shock and awe campaign.
Freaking daisy cutters.
The preemptive first strike
Aggro.
by the humans in their battle with the Na'vi may be cited to bolster this argument in comparison with the real-world preemptive strike of the so-called Bush Doctrine. Still, others turn this argument on its head and posit that Avatar instead is specifically pro-American, especially in regards to being a justification for the war on terror. Both the human and Na'vi characters claim to be fighting terror with terror.
Aggro.
We will fight terror.
We will fight terror with terror.
But if
We
take
will
the view
fight
that
the white
Na'vi
man
are
as a
the
white
RDA
man.
are the villains, the terrorists of the movie, and that the Na'vi are the victims of the terrorism, then, odd as it may seem, the Na'vi come to represent America. The destruction of Home Tree, in this respect, is symbolic of the destruction of the Twin Towers on 9/11. Such differing points of view and ambiguity of message, however, aren't surprising from a big-budget movie such as Avatar. Clearly, it isn't smart to...
Oh yeah, now and notice that they kind of glorified the Trail of Tears at the end. Do you see it? Because that's what this is. This is the Trail of Tears, but with nukes and bombs and guns and stuff. And they kind of glorify it, like, oh man, look how awesome it is, how all these natives are dying or whatever. And that's how Dances with Wolves was too. It was incredibly violent. And I was like, why are we focusing this much on native people dying? You know? But I suppose conflict needed to be there. It's an action movie.
And potentially controversial standpoint.
I don't think it's very fair to James Cameron to say that it's a bad film, because it's not. But is it racist? Yes. Yes. Very racist.
Obviously racist stereotypes.
Now, did he write it? No. No, someone else wrote this, and whoever wrote it is racist.
If you want to make billions of dollars at the box office.
He should have known better.
Anyways, maybe the problem isn't really that most of the human characters in the movie couldn't see, as the Na'vi saying goes, the racial other. Nor that the culturally dominant filmmakers couldn't see the real-world oppressed others. Maybe the real discrimination that James Cameron and crew took a stand against was discrimination against not the actors that the Na'vi represent, but what the Na'vi really are. And what Pandora really is. CGI. Anyone who tries to destroy the CGI are the villains. The real beauty is found in the CGI. And the heroes are the people who make the CGI. People like James Cameron. Hey everyone, Two Movie Guys is doing a giveaway of a new Blu-ray of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 from
I'm gonna start off with a disclaimer. If you like the Avatar films, you're allowed to like it. If you...
Yeah, it's a great movie, sure. It was racist.
who like the Avatar films and you are indigenous, you are also allowed to like.
You want to know another really, really racist movie that I absolutely loved? American History X. I think that's a worse movie. Worse. Way worse. And, but I loved it. Is it a bad movie? No. No, it is not. Nobody's saying it's a bad movie. I'm saying I don't like it. There's you can not like something that isn't is not a bad thing, you know. You can dislike something that is good. That is high quality. Avatar's very high quality, kind of, sort of.
Now, obviously, you don't need my permission or anyone's permission to like a certain thing.
No. And I'm not trying to cancel Avatar either. I'm just saying I don't want any more white guilt movies about white man going native and saving us all, because it's a bullshit fantasy that basically is dreamt up by Hitler. Like, I won't do it.
A lot of the things I'm going to say are obviously going to push a lot of buttons on a lot of people. But without wasting time, let's get to one indigenous person's thoughts on...
You know what you did? I know what you did!
So when the first Avatar film came out in 2009, I watched it in 3D with my mom and my grandparents, and I thought it was cool. I think many at the time, especially where I was at, where there was a larger Navajo population, a lot of the themes were fairly familiar already to me. Like, in the beginning, I didn't really expect the Na'vi to be like a stand-in for real-life indigenous people. Like, up to that point, I was like, wait, is this about us? And I'll be honest, I think a lot of other natives and indigenous people pretty much felt the same way. And I would argue a lot of indigenous people like...
Thank you, Native Media Theory, for the excellent content from your stream. I'd like to sub to your channel.
...the film because of that. There was actually one scene in particular that I really latched onto when I first saw this film.
I remember a scene where he first gets in the Mech Warrior robot or whatever in 3D, and there's all these bullet holes in the wall, and the 3D bullet holes in the wall looked really fucking cool.
That quick shot of them on horseback was just so visceral and epic. It really tapped into that kind of warrior energy I had in me at the time. And I guess like when I saw it, and I'd argue a lot of other natives when they saw that whole sequence of them fighting back, it was just like it really spoke to like how our ancestors fought. You know, like it really tapped into that, and I thought it was epic, and I'd argue it still is epic. That whole sequence is just pretty awesome. But then, like, of course, even for me at the time, the film was, you know, pretty much predictable.
Hey, I've seen this one. This is a classic.
And for a while, I enjoyed the film. I had it on my old iPod Classic, had it, like, downloaded on there, and I'd watch it every once in a while. And then, of course, over time, much like everyone else, everyone kind of forgot about it. And now, finally, 13 years later, we have the much anticipated, actually very anticipated, sequel, Avatar: The Way of Water. And when I first saw the trailers, I was a bit excited. I was like, oh, cool, yeah, okay, cool. We get to obviously see what happens in the second one, you know, like what happened to Jake Sully and all that. What happens to the future to Na'vi or the humans coming back, whatever. All those questions popped up initially when I saw the trailer, and I was like, okay, cool, this looks fun, this looks interesting. I didn't think much of it at the time. And of course, there was a lot of talk about the progression of the CGI and a lot of the things that are pretty much changing in how we capture CGI and everything in the film industry, right? And this film is definitely kind of another turning point in that, and there's a lot of talk about that as well. So I was actually a little excited. I wasn't like dramatically excited, but I was a little excited until yeah, so admittedly at first, I was a little like, wait, what? Well, duh, like, of course, you know, the first film is littered with, you know, white savior tropes and, you know, all of that. Like, I was like, yeah, duh, like, that's what it is, right? Akin to Dances with Wolves, more on that later. And originally, I thought James Cameron's words were, like, taken out of context or were grossly exaggerated. And so I went ahead and just read the article in which he says those words. Yeah, it's definitely not exaggerated or taken out of context. It really changed my perspective on
James
both
Cameron.
Avatar franchise as a whole, but also James Cameron as a filmmaker. And of course, since that article has, you know, research.
Yeah, the guy who made Aliens and Terminator isn't very woke. Is it a surprise? I don't know what worlds you live in, but it's not a surprise to me. I don't think Mario Kassar is very woke. I don't think people who make Contra movies and, like, you know, I'm sorry, the Hollywood equivalent of the game Contra. I don't think or like Narc. I don't think these people are woke. No, I think they're very ableist white races who have a lot of money for making yarns about white man's guilt and white man guns and white man Terminators and white man problems.
2010 and a few other things that he said. Of course, many indigenous peoples have had their takes on the entire situation. Yeah. And a lot of them I agree with. I think they're valid. There's a few that I think are just really out there and I honestly just don't agree with it, but I'm not really here to talk about those at all. I kind of just want to give my own opinion because there's a lot of other stuff here to consider about where James Cameron's coming from and then like the actual film itself. So from that article and quite a few other articles and some interviews, I was able to kind of gather and get a picture of where James Cameron is coming from in regards to his intentions with the Avatar franchise, but also like where he is coming from and how he sees
as a
himself
white man
in the place of
Yep.
making this film and in our world, our like real world.
Aggro.
I mean, at least like a surface level. But there are a few things to note here. Is that James Cameron is an opportunist, technological filmmaker. He is genuinely good at directing. And then obviously when it comes to like action, he blocks everything well and edits it well. Like, and he knows how to make back-to-back blockbusters. Of the top 10 top grossing films of all time,
like
he has
6
directed
of them are
3 of them.
yeah,
So
or his
I mean, it kind of tells you a bit about him as, you know, as a artist,
director.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
he's
like
really good.
Aliens,
Yeah.
Terminator 2,
Me too.
True Lies. You know, like I
did
enjoy
not like
those
True
films
Lies.
a lot. Like they're very
that
rewatchable.
film sucked.
With that being said, this
Jamie Lee
is more
Curtis sucked
about,
in
I
True
guess,
Lies,
the
and so did
context
Schwarzenegger.
surrounding how the films were made. So, a few years after the first Avatar film was released, he found himself going to Manaus in Brazil to help protest against a dam. It was called the Belo Monte Dam. It was going to threaten and affect the people in the Xingu forest. Now, there's even a whole documentary he made post-Avatar called A Message from Pandora.
Oh, wow.
I think there's a few versions of it.
No shit. No shot.
That documentary is interesting. But
Oh
in that
my
documentary, he
God.
goes in depth about like, you know, the construction of the dam, its implications of how it's going to affect the wildlife and the people living in that area. He actually goes there and talks with the Xingu people and the various little tribes there. But I don't know, like the whole thing was a bit surreal to watch, but not in a good way. And for him, it was surreal to be in it, but like in a fascinating and interesting way, you know? Because when he went down there, he was quite embraced by some of the Xingu tribal leaders, and I'm not judging them at all. Like, it's more about how he has kind of inserted himself into this situation and trying to be an advocate and everything. And of course, like being an advocate for these type of issues, it's something that a lot of people do, whether you're indigenous or not. But in my mind, he was living the events of his own film, if that makes sense. I mean, he even says it.
And back through the whole colonial period, and you know, I wound up going to Brazil, and all of a sudden I was living in Avatar.
Oh my God.
And so in the article, I think he even mentions it a little bit too in the documentary about the fate of the North American tribes. And in the article, the part that everyone's citing, this is what it says. Cameron said witnessing indigenous ceremonies and meetings in the Amazon had made him reflect on the plight of the North American Indians and inspired him to attempt and give the, quote, global consciousness a heads up, end quote. He says, I felt like I was 130 years back in time watching what the Lakota Sioux might have been saying at a point when they were being pushed and they were being killed and they were being asked to displace and they were being given some form of compensation. He said, this was a driving force for me in the writing of Avatar. I couldn't help but think that if they, the Lakota Sioux, had had a time window and they could see the future, they could see their kids committing suicide at the highest suicide rates in the nation because they were hopeless and they were a dead-end society, which is what is happening now. They would have fought harder, end quote. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot to unpack here, and you know, of course, I get what he's trying to say.
What he's trying to
and it's
say.
Frustrating. And of course, you can be offended about it, what you want. Of course,
He's right. Like, for instance, if you were to say, let's say that 50 years pass and in 2043, we dropped the bomb on Japan or whatever, right? Or when did we do that in 1940? Was that 1943, 1945? Yeah, 45, right? So we dropped the bomb on Japan. I only use that example because that's what we actually did, right? So let's say in 2045, we dropped the bomb on Japan, right? I don't like where this is going, so I'm just going to stop.
saw that, read that, and were obviously offended. I don't believe in like being offended for no reason, but there's a lot of reason to be offended with what he said. So he brings up like the suicide statistics.
There you go. Now I remember what I was trying to say. I also lost the train of thought because I'm a little bit tired. If you're like, okay, let's say it's now it's 2060, and you know that in 2045 we dropped the bomb on Japan, right? And you, as a white man, you say Japan would have fought a lot harder if they would have known that we were going to drop a bomb on them. And it's really ableist, really racist, and really kind of like fucked up. And yeah, and that's a bad metaphor, but that's kind of what he said.
Among the Lakota, and how they
the Lakota.
Hopeless.
Yeah.
You could argue that he's saying that they are still hopeless. And I would say
bullshit.
That's a sentiment for a lot of North American tribes.
There are no hopeless peoples on this planet.
I'm hyperbolic here, just warning you on that. But this is a narrative that I see all too often in a lot of places online, especially in like mini documentaries on YouTube and mainstream, news segments, documentaries in the indie circuit. And it's the genre known as poverty porn. So poverty porn, it's this genre of filmmaking or whatever media that focuses on like the negative and unfortunately often true statistical stuff about a certain group of people. And unfortunately the entire piece usually is like 90% of it is focusing purely on the negative, purely on the bad. And of course it's important to be aware of certain issues, right? But this genre of media just becomes really oversaturated, especially when it comes to minorities in Western countries or other people in other countries, in third world countries. They just really reel in these forsaken people in their poor state, right?
Aggro.
The problem is like with these poverty porn pieces is that they kind of show us as victims only. There aren't a lot of other pieces like that really focus on the good that a lot of indigenous people may be doing, or the good things that are happening, or programs that are functioning well. And if they do, they're usually pretty quick. They don't linger on as much. And so that's something that's really hard to capture for clicks and for views, unfortunately. With that, I think that James Cameron is channeling a lot of that same ideology with poverty porn, coming from a sentiment of like, yes, these people are conquered people. They've lost. In his mind, they lost. And you could argue that like that is the colonial mindset. Is like, yes, these people lost. Get over it and move on, right? And James Cameron, I don't know. I get the sense that he's moved on from North American tribes.
What did he say?
And again, that's just me kind of BSing here, but like that's the sentiment I get from his statements. And I guess you could argue in a sociological or socio-political sense, sure. But like, we are assimilated. We use, modern, technology, right? A lot of us drive cars. Some of us have access to internet and all that stuff. It's the same, it's the same argument or the same stance that a Western conservative will also make, right? Is that like we aren't really native or indigenous. You know what I mean? I've heard that argument a lot, unfortunately. And it's erasure, it's denying our indigenous reality that no, we are still here. We do exist, in fact exist. There are still a lot of indigenous experiences happening now in the modern world. But a part of me feels like that he went to the Shingo people in Brazil because it's pretty much a black and white issue. It's a very obvious fight to latch onto. It's really easy for him to do that. And many other people like him. And I'm not dismissing the fights like the Shingo people and others like it. I'm not dismissing them. But it's more about how people like James Cameron and James Cameron himself, who kind of insert themselves into these situations, trying to be an advocate and just really lavishing in his involvement with these types of things. And he, captures it in his own films, right? and that's the thing, like he, in his films, he captures indigenous resistance. how he thinks it should have been and how it should be. Which leads me to indigenous resistance in general. You know, like I mentioned, where he says that they should have fought harder, I think that stung a lot of people, right? Indigenous people. And I get like what he's trying to say, right? But even then, the whole thing just comes off as ignorant and factually wrong. Because like I said, like we are still here. There are a lot of indigenous people still around, and of course what you identify as indigenous, whether that be through blood or from culture, that's a whole nother conversation for another day, right? But the fact is like there's still tons of indigenous people still alive today, especially in North America. Some languages are still being spoken, some traditions are being held and preserved. But to dismiss the Lakota people and other nations in North America as a dead-end society and hopeless.
Rough times, huh, adventurer? No matter where you turn, someone needs help, and my wife and I are no exception. Good work, friend. You have earned your pay well. Who knows, perhaps Westfall will prosper once again.
I guess he forgot about the American Indian movement in the 1960s and 70s. I guess that he forgot about
Good work, friend. You have earned your pay well. Who knows, perhaps Westfall will prosper once again.
He has his view of indigenous resistance, but the reality is that indigenous resistance in developed countries, is still alive in here. It seems that
These are just perfect adventurers. Thank you so much. Farmer Saldine and I are going to feast tonight.
So what does this all have to do with Avatar?
Something for you for the hard work. You didn't think I was going to let an adventurer like you go hungry,
let's take a look at the pre-production and the story of the Avatar films. It's been cited many times that the franchise is, dances with wolves in space, and yeah, sure, right? It's a cheap critique, but not wrong. You could argue too that it's a general hero story and all that, and the internet is very right now within the past couple of months very oversaturated with different takes that are for this film or against this film, whatever. You can find those yourself. Most of them are on YouTube. There's a couple of Reddit posts that you can read, or Twitter, especially Twitter. Damn, Twitter is just full of different takes. But I'm not really here to talk about a lot of them, but there's one take in particular that really stuck out to me that was a little different than a lot of others, and that's by a YouTuber named Sideways. And his video about the score for the first Avatar film has since gone viral since the release of the second one. Sideways, he talks about film scores or music in general. I'm a bit of a music nerd myself, and so I really enjoy his videos even before the Avatar one came out. He talks about how the score for Avatar was made or not made. Basically.
Okay, guys, I hate to do this to you, but I do have another goddamn doctor's appointment in the fucking morning, so I've got to go to bed earlier tonight, and I'm really not very happy about that. So, it was a good day, though I am unhappy with Season of Discovery, and that's unfortunate, but it might just be me. I think it's probably me. I need my own gameplay loops that I find fun, and I'm not sure that was it. So, on that note, I'm going to bail out and go to bed, and I want to thank you guys for supporting me so long, and the reality is I will be on tomorrow for more. And there we go. Just a reminder, come to skycat.live. Click on the cat space to donate. If you're on YouTube, I'm not an affiliate of YouTube yet, but I am an affiliate of Twitch. And it was a good day. And I want to thank you guys for showing up here and spend time with me. Tomorrow will be on around like 12 or 1 PST, somewhere around there. Probably play some WoW. And thank you so much for your time, and on that note, I will see you tomorrow. Sleep well. Love you. Bye.